This PowerPoint presentation on Bill of Rights is in partial fulfillment for the requirements in the subject Advanced Constitutional Law Review under Attorney Angel R. Ohastro III. Article 3, Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is the sanctuary of protection for all persons, citizens or non-citizens, against any and all kinds of abuses of power and authority by the government, or any of its officials and employees, or even against any unwarranted violation of such rights by any other person. In other words, the Bill of Rights serves not only as a limitation but also as deterrent to further violations of fundamental liberties, which are the essence of constitutional democracy. As against the wide latitude of power and authority of the government, the Bill of Rights serves also as leverage, a countervailing shield which the people can have against any form of injustice. There are classification of constitutional rights. First, political rights. This pertains to those rights of the citizens which give them the power to participate directly or indirectly in the establishment or administration of the government. Civil rights are those rights which the law will enforce at the instance of private individuals for the purpose of securing to them the enjoyment of their means of livelihood. Third, social and economic rights are those rights which are intended to ensure the well-being and economic security of the individual. Fourth, rights of the accused are those rights intended for the protection of a person who is accused of any crime. What is the meaning of due process of laws? According to Aquino Jr. versus Military Commission, it means essentially a fair and partial trial and reasonable opportunity for the preparation of the defense. There are two aspects of due process. One is the procedural due process, and two is the substantive due process. What is the specific concern of each? In substantive due process, the concern is whether or not life, liberty, or property is taken away without due process of law. And what is the specific concern of procedural due process? The concern is whether or not the said deprivation is being done in accordance with the procedures laid down by law. What are the two aspects of procedural due process? First, procedural due process in judicial proceedings, and second, procedural due process in administrative proceedings. What are the requirements of due process in judicial proceedings? First, there must be an impartial court clothed with judicial power to hear and determine the matter before it. Second, jurisdiction must be lawfully acquired over the person of the defendant and over the property which is the subject matter of the proceeding. Third, the defendant must be given an opportunity to be heard. And fourth, judgment must be rendered upon lawful hearing. What are the requirements of due process in administrative proceedings? Number one, the right to a hearing, which includes the right to present one's case and submit evidence in support thereof. Number two, the tribunal must consider the evidence presented. Number three, the decision must have something to support itself. Number four, the evidence must be substantial. Number five, the decision must be rendered in the evidence presented at the hearing, or at least contained in the record and disclosed in the parties affected. Number 6, the tribunal or body or any of its judges must act on its or his own independent consideration of the law and facts of the controversy and not simply accept the views of a subordinate in arriving at a decision. And number 7, the board or body should, in all controversial questions, render its decision in such a manner that the parties to the proceeding can know the various issues involved and the reason for the decision rendered. What is the common requirement of procedural due process in judicial or administrative proceedings? The common elements are notice and opportunity to be heard. What is the meaning of equal protection of the law? It signifies that all persons subject to legislation should be treated alike under circumstances and conditions both in the privileges conferred and liabilities imposed. What is the scope of guarantee? The guarantee of equal protection and due process of law on all the organs of the government and all the subordinate instrumentalities and subdivision thereof, and on the 3 inherent powers of the government. Number 2, the guarantee is available to all persons. Number 3, it does not extend to rights which are political. And number 4, it is not intended to enforce social equality. What is the meaning of search warrant and warrant of arrest? Search warrant. Search warrant is an order in writing issued in the name of the people of the Philippines, signed by the judge and directed to a peace officer commanding him to search for a certain personal property and bring it before the court. Number 2, warrant of arrest. It is a written order to arrest a person being designated to take him in custody in order that he may be bound to answer for the commission of an offense. Requisites of a valid search warrant or warrant of arrest. 1. Issued upon probable cause. The probable cause must be determined personally by the judge himself. And such determination of the existence of probable cause must be made after examination by the judge of the complainant and the witnesses he may produce. Must particularly describe the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. That's all. Thank you very much. God bless us.